Welcome everybody to UPAA Live. We're real excited to have everybody join us today for a new symposium update. We've got a lot of exciting things to talk about, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to share my screen. First of all, just this is our first announcement. We have a communications plan that we've been working on. So for this symposium, we're actually going to be launching a UPAA Symposium Slack channel. I know a lot of you guys have experience on Slack, and that'll be great because it will allow us to do instant updates, give you a place to get questions and answers, share photos. So we're going to be launching that on May 1st. So everybody that is registered for Symposium, we're just going to send an email with the sign up information. And it's something that I think is going to help us a lot as we have the Symposium, as we're leading up to Symposium. And then while we're at Symposium, also it'll be a great communications tool. Transportation, I don't think I have many updates, but I did want to clarify a few things. So this is a map of northern Utah. Now, if you look, the airport's over here, as you can see, the airplane. Again, there is public transportation to come down to Utah County, and it's at $6 and something cents. Works pretty efficiently. It's great if you're wanting to do that. Also, rental cars are pretty cheap right there at the Salt Lake Airport. We'll be doing most of the symposium down there, and then again on Friday we're going to have that option if you'd like to go out to the Salt Flats with us. There is no public transportation to get to the Salt Flats. You're gonna have to get a ride with somebody or have a car, and we are going to be sharing a rideshare sheet coming up soon. One of the questions that had come up is, well, should I stay on Friday night out in Wendover, or should I just get a hotel at the Salt Lake Airport? And you can do either. Just so you know, when we're on the Salt Flats, you'll be pretty tired by the time you're done at 10. And it's an hour and 13 minutes to drive from the Salt Flats back to the Salt Lake Airport. So if you're comfortable with that, you definitely can do that. You will be tired though, just as a warning. So you might want to just go stay at the Wendover hotels, but just make sure that you have those options. If you're not sure, you have a specific situation, feel free to reach out to us and we'll give you our best advice. We've been to the Salt Flats plenty of times and it's a fun place. Public transportation. Again, on May 1st, we're also hoping to launch our rideshare document. We're just finalizing a few things on it, and that will be sent to all that have registered. And it's a good way for you to be able to team up and save some money and share rides back and forth. While you're in Provo, there is going to be public transportation if you'd like to use, but also having a car, is also helpful if you want to go out and explore. The canyon's really nearby, the lake's nearby. There's lots of things to do in Utah County. Just a reminder on accommodations. We have a great rate at the downtown Provo Marriott. It is actually really, really good rate. And if you've looked at other hotels in the area, it's the best hotel we have in Provo, and it's cheaper than most of the other hotels. There is a warning though. We are almost out of rooms. So if you are planning on coming to Symposium and haven't booked your hotel yet, I would say go do that as soon as you can to make sure you get the rate. Now, if that rate doesn't show up when you put the code in, the information's on the UPAA Symposium page. Let us know. We might be able to add extra rooms, but there's also a lot of other hotel options that we can give you that are nearby. Across the street, there's the Hyatt Place, which is convenient. And we might be able to get a better rate if we run out of rooms over at the Marriott. But even if you haven't finished your registration and you just want to get your hotel scheduled, the sooner the better. And then again, the best hotel option out in Wendover is Montego Bay, but it's a little pricey. There are other hotels that are, a lot of different options out there. But yeah, make sure you get your hotels booked soon. Okay, for itinerary, there was just a few updates. If you've seen our past itinerary and the past UPAA Live we did on this. Monday, we did have one change. We've actually moved the opening banquet to UVU because of a scheduling conflict. So we're going to have our basic lighting workshop for those that register. For those that have reached out to us and we've accepted, we still have a couple spots open in the lighting workshop, but we're really close to being full. So again, the information is on the UPAA page. The registration and stuff will be at the hotel, and then the opening banquet will be at UVU at 5 p.m. Our keynote speaker will be there, and then we'll head back to the Marriott for our hospitality, portfolio review, all that kind of fun stuff. On Tuesday, not many changes. Just remember that Tuesday, there are a lot of opportunities to meet with the vendors, both in the morning and in lunch and afternoon. So we just want to make sure that you guys know there's a lot of great vendors coming out. They're going to bring gear. They're going to have deals, be able to answer your questions and that kind of stuff. On Wednesday, there aren't too many changes. We have a couple updates coming soon. We're just waiting on confirming a couple things, but that will be the day that we're at BYU. Thursday, there is one change, and because we swapped the opening and closing banquet. So now the closing banquet will be at BYU, and it'll be in the Hinckley building, our same building where we're going to be meeting on Wednesday. So we're gonna have plenty of good things going on at UVU, and then we'll have plenty of time if you want to go back to the hotel and change or whatever, or just go straight down to BYU for the closing banquet. We're planning on that being at 5 p.m. Friday is the day that most people have the questions about. This is the Salt Flats. So check out need to check out the Marriott, I believe, by 11 a.m. Breakfast is on your own, of course. And then up at Pitcher Line in Salt Lake, we're going to have a special presentation. We're still trying to confirm our photographer to make sure it's going to work, but it's going to be a presentation. And then there's going to be plenty of free time. If you want to explore Salt Lake, we'll have a list of things you can do in Salt Lake. There's plenty of things to see. And then you want to drive out to Wendover, which it's good to leave yourself at least an hour and 45 minutes for the drive, just with traffic. Especially if you don't want to leave after 4 o'clock. You want to try to leave before 4 o'clock because rush hour will slow you down to getting out there. Again, dinner on your own now that's out there in Wendover. And then we're going to shoot for starting our demo at 7:30 p.m. on the Salt Flats. So we're going to have one of our featured photographers is going to come, and featured speaker is going to do a live demo on the Salt Flats. We're hoping to mic him up so that everybody can hear what he's saying. And you can come listen to that, or you can go do your own thing. Sunset is at about 9:11 p.m. and sunset is the time to do the Salt Flats. It's beautiful. It's, like I say, nature's largest studio, and it's a pretty cool place. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out. Now, I just want to make this clear right from the get-go. Once we have sunset on the Salt Flats on Friday, we're done. Saturday, you're on your own. We're not having any programming or anything like that. If you want to wake up and go get sunrise at 6 a.m., you go for it. But I will be sleeping. We'll be tired. But there's no official programming or anything on Saturday. Technically everything finishes up on Friday night. But yeah, you want to do breakfast on your own, and then I think the hotel there in Montego Bay, it's 11 a.m. and you can just drive straight to the airport. But honestly, you should go explore Utah. Go take advantage of the beautiful national parks that are here. We will have a travel guide that we're going to be sharing coming soon that shows kind of the options and things we recommend you check out. We wanted to talk about breakout sessions. We have 4 tracks that we're looking at doing for breakouts: photo track, video track, software and technology, which will also be digital asset management, and then a leadership inspiration track. We have some really good ideas for lots of classes. We're just trying to actually get our speakers for those classes set up right now, but we still do have a couple slots open. So if you have a proposal that you think would make a great breakout session that you'd like to teach, or you want to recommend somebody else teaches, please send us an email to photo@byu.edu by May 1st. That will be really helpful for us. We just got to get this done because we want to get the programs printed and everything settled. So go ahead and let's get working on that. So just as a review on presenters we've already announced, first of all, Greg Heisler will be speaking, and we're really excited to have Greg Heisler, an amazing explorer of light. Joe McNally is always a treat, and we have a long history of Joe McNally being with us at symposiums, and I think he's been to, I don't know, 3 or 4 symposiums, 4, 5, 10. Glenn's just giving me signs. I don't know.
I think 4.
Enough. But not enough, because we like having Joe. So we're going to be excited to have him. Rod Marr also has spoken to us during the digital symposium in 2020, and he was awesome. We had a lot of fun with Rod, so we're excited to have him coming back. And then recently, David McLean, who's with Sony, he's both a photographer and filmmaker. I checked out his website the other day, and I'm like, wow, I'm excited to hear. He's got some really great experience working with Geographic and Sony and Apple, and does both photo and video. So we're excited to hear him. But you guys joined us for one reason only. You want to see the special announcement. So we have our final speaker that we'd like to announce, and that speaker is Dan Winters. And I can't tell you how excited we are to have Dan back with us. Dan was scheduled to be our speaker in 2020 when COVID canceled, and Jay Drowns he's done an awesome job of just, hey, we'd like to have you come back when we actually do host. And we're excited for Dan that he's been willing to do that. If you haven't checked out the featured, so he has on National Geographic, they have a series on Hulu called Photographer. I just watched his episode a couple days ago. It was awesome. I am so excited for Dan to come out. So please go check it out so you can get ready for him. So we also wanted to just have a reminder come out about the year-end competitions. I think that a lot of people are new. This is their first year in being a part of Symposium and being part of the competitions. So we wanted to talk about just a few things. First of all, here are the competitions that are for the end of the year. First of all, you have the annual photo competition, and that's for photos from the whole year. And you can enter up until June 15th. And then as soon as they open those up. So we have till the June 26th to make our votes. And the voting is the same way that we do the monthly image competition. There's also the publications competition, which you do actually have to enter online and then actually have a physical copy that you send in. So with the publications competition, the deadline is May 1st. And that the things will be, we have an address there where you send it, and that will be judged by a group of designers. So you need to get that done as soon as you can because time is running out. And then the narrative series competition is also going to be the same timeline. June 15th is the last deadline. And I don't know if you've had a chance to vote on the narrative series, but I am so impressed with some of the things I saw last quarter. So make sure that you get your entries in and that you go vote, because it's very inspiring to see what all the UPAA members are doing in all these different formats, and in video, in multimedia, in photo essay. It's really, really cool to see what that's happening. So just want to make sure you're aware of those dates and you get going on those. Also on the website, there's the rules for the annual photo competition, in fact, for all the competitions, right? And I think it's a good idea to review the rules just to make sure you know you're following the rules and learn more about the different things that you need to be aware of when you're entering. There's 10 categories in the competition. One of the categories that's unique to this competition is the photo essay. It's something we don't do during the whole year. And the photo essay, you do have to have everything in a 1600 by 1600 one photo. So it's something you need to put together and get working on. But we always have great competition in the photo essays. So just a few more things. For the annual photo competition, you get 6 entries, and it's going to cost you $15 each entry. And that cost is to help us pay for all the awards. Those awards that get give out are not cheap, but they're great showpieces to take back to your campus and show everybody what you're doing. Again, there's 10 different categories. You need to enter by the 15th and then vote before the 26th. And then also one other note, photos need to have been taken within the last 18 months prior to competition. And I believe they can't have been entered in the previous year's competition. Okay. And there are a lot of people that really haven't started voting in the MIC and don't have that experience. So, there is a couple ways to go about it. Some people like to vote like this, where they have all the photos up in kind of one page and they vote that way. But personally, I don't like doing it that way. I like to vote one by one and go look at each individual image so that I can kind of give that attention to that image. And I think that I just want to make sure that everybody takes advantage of the opportunity to vote, because it's so important and it helps other photographers to get better. If you go look on your page, your profile page on the website, at the very bottom, this is something that most people may not be aware of because it's new. You can click on your contests, and if you go there, you can actually go and look and see where your image is placed in each of the categories that you entered. And I'm telling you, this is something that we used to have, and it's come back, and I'm so grateful for, because again, I think sometimes with the competitions, people think it's about the competition, and for me, it's not. For me, it's about the feedback. The fact that you've all entered in competitions where there's, some judge that comes in and they judge, and that's it. It's over. What I love about our monthly image competition, about all of our competitions, is the fact that I'm only judged by our other members. So the fact that I can actually go and I can enter one of my images in a competition and have 50 photographers give me honest feedback, photographers that do the same thing that I do, that is super valuable for me. If you look here, this is for March, for my one of my images. People liked my quarterback shot. So it's good feedback for me. It says, yeah, everything worked what I want to do. But then if you look over on the right, my general feature shot that I entered, it was placed 20th. So clearly it didn't resonate with people. And that's helpful feedback for me that I can go and say, okay, why didn't this one do well? What do I need to do differently? Because I thought it was a pretty decent image. And that feedback is, again, the whole point of this competition. It's to help us get better, to help us give honest feedback to other people. And if you go look at the, also on your website, you can see the standings and the membership. One of the positive changes we've had this year is that everybody gets points, even if you're not in the top 5, and again, that's really cool because everybody's gaining points when they enter. And then if you looked how close, the top 15 and 20 people are, everybody's really close because everybody's getting points, and it's just going to make it really fun end of the year competition when we get to the end. So the problem is I've been doing the MIC and these competitions for 20 years now. This is the 20-year anniversary of the monthly image competition. And I think that's really cool. But I wanted to get some perspective from somebody that hasn't been doing it that long, that's newer. So we're going to bring Sarah on, and she's at St. Louis University. Good. There you go. Hey, Sarah. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. Well, first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you come from, and how'd you learn about the UPAA?
So like many people, I started in newspapers and then went on to freelancing after being laid off from newspapers. But freelanced mostly in wire services for about 7 years, and then went to a small lifestyle magazine in town, did a lot of food and fashion and things like that. Was laid off in 2020 and started at SLU in April of 2022. So it's been an awesome experience. And I was so thrilled to find this organization. I actually found it via Instagram, via the hashtag. So the hashtag works.
Hashtags work, Glenn.
The hashtag works. When I first started at SLU, I'd never, done any sort of education, marketing, or anything. So I just kind of followed a couple of schools, followed WashU and Mizzou, kind of local places, kind of see what they were doing. And somewhere along the line, I found the university photographer hashtag. And I thought, oh, cool, there's a hashtag, not realizing that was going to open the door to this huge organization. But then once I started seeing it more and more and more, following those photographers, and eventually it led me to the UPAA website, where I spent a lot of time reading all the blog articles and going through the old contest winners. And so when I started, I was ready to go. And I told the business manager on like day 2 that there was an organization I wanted to join.
Very cool. Very cool. What's been some of the best benefits of the UPA to you?
Oh, I mean, just having the community. I'm the only photographer here at SLU, and I was the only photographer at the magazine I was at. And of course, when you're freelancing, you're kind of by yourself. So it's just awesome to have just a community of people who are all doing the same thing, and to be able to learn from each other. It's just great. It's awesome.
Very cool. And how about the competition? When did you start entering, and what's been your experience with the competitions?
Yeah, I started entering, I think I entered one in like June of 2022, because I started in April. So I was sort of, didn't enter that. I couldn't enter the first month. I didn't enter the second month, but I did enter in the May, one that was judged in June. And I just think it's so much fun. I love it. I do enjoy a little healthy competition, and I agree with Jaren, what you were saying about this. The feedback that you get is extremely, extremely valuable to see what pictures people respond to, what pictures they don't. I don't get a lot of feedback in my role here, so that is very much appreciated. It also really keeps me motivated. It gives me something to kind of strive for. Every month I tell myself, okay, we're going to try to you want to get 4 pictures that are worthy of entering into this competition. So it kind of like helps me kind of stretch a little bit creatively to be able to look at, what I've made in the last month and say, these are the ones that I think, are worth entering. And just another added bonus, my boss also really likes competitions, and she's always encouraging us to enter everything we can. And so one of my yearly professional goals was actually to enter a competition. So when performance review came around, I was able to say, well, not only did I enter one competition, I entered 9 competitions, and I placed however many times, and I raised the profile for St. Louis University among photographers across the country. And that actually contributed to my merit increase. So that was a good added bonus.
That is awesome. So what you're saying is the MIC makes you money.
I can't, I mean, I think it's definitely, a valuable thing to kind of, present during performance reviews, to say that you've entered these pictures, that other schools think that you're doing a good job and therefore you should get a raise. No, but you're raising the profile of your school across these other schools across the country.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I say, when you're working with the same people every day, they may not recognize you're doing great work, but when you have an outside organization give you that feedback, and it tells them, wow, they're really doing stellar work, and I think that's one of the great benefits of what we're doing. I remember when I was it was 2004 when they started the MIC, and I was a young photographer, just barely full time, and I'm like, man, someday I would like to beat these guys, and I never entered, and I never placed, and it just kind of motivated me to keep trying to improve my skills to make my photography better. And I think I was at the beginning, I was definitely more into the competitive side. And now I probably switched over, and I'm more into the feedback and like the growth side of the competition. And that's why we're talking about this, is we want to make sure that people have that opportunity. I can go to my wife and show her a picture, and she's usually like, yeah, okay, so what? But or she'll pat me on the head, say, good job pushing that button. But to go to other photographers and get honest feedback, that is going to help me grow. That's going to help me. And it's so easy especially when you're the only photographer on a campus, that you're just kind of in a boxed off, and you don't have any feedback. So that's really cool. So in judging other people's photos, how has that helped your photography?
Oh, I mean, just seeing what other people are doing has just been, I get so much inspiration from it. Sometimes I wish that you could see all of the photos, after the judging's taken place, because there are some that I want to, take a closer look at, but then once it's over, they disappear unless they place. Um, but in going back through the archives, having the archives on the site is a huge, awesome resource. Whenever I feel kind of stuck, like a lab shoot or a portrait or something, sometimes I'll just flip back through those and get some inspiration. So it's good to see what other people are doing and how they're doing it, and how, we can use that and use it as a valuable tool for our own work.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll actually go through the photos with our students after the winners are announced, and say, oh, why did this work? What do you like about it? How did they do it? And it's been very motivating for them, to help them understand what that high level photography looks like. And then, yeah, I love stealing everybody else's ideas. That's the best part, right? That's what we do as photographers, is like, I'm going to use that, but I'm going to do it a little differently, and make it my own, like Lindsay Adler was talking to us about last year. So very, very cool. So are you excited to enter the year-end competition then?
Yeah. I have to go through and see, what to enter. But yeah, very excited about it.
I was looking at the numbers, and as an average every year, between the monthly image competition and the year end, we judge 3,000 photos, 3,000 to 3,100 photos, and high quality photos, some of the best work from the best people in our business. And I think, again, that's a resource that I think is we don't want to waste. Take advantage of the opportunity to enter, take advantage of the opportunity to compete and learn and grow, and that's it. Well, thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that. So, guys, it's time for questions. What questions do you have? You can throw them in the chat, or you can just shout them out.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the publications, when they needed to be produced, because like a view book is produced for us and used for 2 years or so, how do you judge the meeting the recently published criteria?
I'm gonna let somebody that knows the answer on the board answer that one. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it says in the rules.
It just says photos like published in the last 18 months.
So
But I don't know if that was towards like the publications as much.
yeah, does anybody know the answer to that?
It's an interesting question we haven't had come up. So you get the gold star or the something for stumping us on that one.
I continue my streak of being the best question asker.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, ideally it would be something newly. That's why we always went for that 18 months. And we definitely understand the view book conundrum because they do have a longer shelf life. I might have to ask the rest of the board. I think I see.
Yeah, that's a great question for them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a next year clarification.
Okay.
Since it's due so quickly. All view books welcome. Next year we'll clarify.
Yeah, we'll have an answer for you hopefully like in a day or so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's only 8 of us. We're chatting all the time, so we can make that call and then amend the rules. But thank you.
Yep. And then my second question is just for my memory, I cut on a little late. The separate entries for categories are separate from the photographer of the year, right? So the ones you enter and pay $15 for don't contribute to the photographer of the year.
No, yeah, it actually
those are voted completely sepaately.
So it actually, the photographer of the year is the combination of the annual photo competition and the monthly image competitions. They have a formula, they aggregate the scores. So it is part of it, yes.
So you will get points entering the annual.
I believe so. Yeah, Glenn is nodding yes. Okay.
Yes.
So
Good, that's a nice incentive.
To normalize because you're taking however many throughout the monthly and only 6 of the annual. And it's a weighted, complicated score that,
yep.
We pray, we have it stored somewhere, but it's like, where do we put that? But yes.
There is some math to it. That is the challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, there is I think, like I say, where we're tracking all the scores, it is so tight. They're so close, just because all the points they just add up, when you compete every month. So I do have a question here. Will there be a May and June Mick? Yes. So there will be, and the June one, I think, is the really short one. It's and the June monthly image competition will be for May images, and it's a really short window. I think it's 7 days to enter and 7 days to vote because we have to get it done before the thing. But yeah, it is on the website under the rules. So go ahead and check that out.
And it's a little longer this year, Jaren, because of the late start of the symposium. We do have more time to.
That is right. We are a week later now. So
that actually kind of helps out quite a bit.
Good. Okay, good. Pull up my gallery real quick. All right. Any more questions?
Josh, I like your question.
Oh, Josh, why does the speaker line up all male? We have more speakers coming. Don't worry. We've got a lot of things we're working on. Deb is coming to Salt Lake Airport on Sunday. Yeah, that is a good point. I should have mentioned that. If you come to Salt Lake Airport on Sunday, there's no $6 transportation to Provo. That is correct. They don't run the front runner on Sundays. It's just Monday through Saturday. So yeah, that is something to be aware of. So you'll need a car, or you'll need a ride, or you'll need an Uber, or you can also stay there. Right next to the Salt Lake Airport, there's a lot of hotels that are really cheap. So you could also just stay there that night and then hop over in the morning down to Provo. Good. Any other questions?
Say also, Jaren, the ride share will also be a great way to get a ride from the airport on Sunday.
Yeah.
A lot of people come in on Sunday.
Yeah, and on the ride share thing, it'll like, when do you come in? Do you have space? How many spots do you have? And like I said, we'll get that out. I think it's May 1st. Everything's coming out, so you should have plenty of time to arrange things. But the cool thing about the way that Provo is laid out is to go from the Marriott to UVU or BYU, it's all a free bus ride, and it goes every 10 minutes or something like that. And pretty quick. It probably takes, I don't know, how long does it take to get to UVU from the Marriott? Probably 15 minutes or so, about 10 minutes to BYU. something like that.
Probably about 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20.
And I would say it's really great to find somebody that's leaving and just grab a ride with them, another member. You'll make really great friendships on those short trips, and you'll just get to meet more people, which is ideal. I know I've heard a couple members say they purpose to ride with somebody new every day just to make more connections.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I had a question. If say you are in a different part of campus, but you have an event that is almost sport related, could that be put under sport, or does that get put under something else?
I've always thought it's fine. If it's sports, it's sports. What do you think?
Check the rules. You'd think I'd know them by now, but we wrote them so long ago I can't remember. But that's a tricky area, and that has been discussed before, Darren. I will say the board has, with the committee, been working on the rules and expect some announcements in the next coming months for the next set of competitions. But they're just finalizing some stuff right there. But that is a very good question, Darren.
And that's kind of the nature of the MIC and the annual competition. Like there's some photos that would fit in 2 or 3 categories, and you just have to kind of decide what works best for you. And people give their honest feedback on that when they vote, right?
It might be considered like an intramural type thing. You could probably fall into that. So look and see what the rules say. I'll try to look at them when we're done here. Try to get back to you, Darren.
Yeah, and when we're excited to have everybody come out to Symposium. I hope you guys are excited. There was frost on my windshield this morning, so I don't know. It's a little weird that it's this late in the year when we still have frost, but it seems like it could be a really mild summer, so I think that'll be helpful for us. And again, just a reminder, we're at altitude. If you guys don't go to altitude very often, you need to drink more water than you think you need to drink, and just be aware of that kind of stuff. And if the salt flats are hot, so you're going to definitely need some water and stuff out in salt flats. And we'll talk about a lot of that stuff and remind you. Yeah, to Josh Hawkins, it's like mild summer, famous last words. That's completely possibly true. This year in Utah, we're about a month behind our normal progression. We had a really long winter. So like our spring is just right now, blossoms are coming out, which is kind of weird for us. So, but yeah, it's it definitely, there's altitude and there's heat. You just have to learn how to deal with both. All right, well, guys, if there's nothing else, it's a short one today.
Just a couple things, Jaren. Personally, I want to know, so when you go to salt flats, should you plan on wearing shorts or long pants?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Either one, it's fine.
Either one? Okay.
Yeah, so the salt flats, like I say, the salt flats are toasty, right? But we're going to be there later in the evening, and it's not too bad. So I will be wearing shorts. It's fine. If you'd like to kneel a lot, you may not want to wear shorts just because the salt, it's kind of sharp. It's how do you explain? It's like walking on the moon, right? It's just so different, and that's why you have to experience it. It's just a thick crust of salt.
It will both cut and cleanse you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you cut yourself on the salt flats, you'll feel it immediately. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I would wear shorts but definitely make sure you have a hat and sunglasses, because what happens is the light hits the salt, which is pure white, and bounces up into your face. So it's funny because you'll see people get sunburned here instead of where they're normally sunburned, right? But hats and sunglasses, especially sunglasses, if you're sensitive to bright light, it's worth doing. But the salt flats is awesome. I've been wanting to do this for the last couple times we had Symposium. We thought about it, and it just kind of really worked out really well for this time, because the salt flats is just kind of a bucket list place for a lot of photographers. So we're hopeful that you can make time and come out to salt flats and, like I say, have our speaker show you what they can do with that fun light. Oh yeah, and then there's nominations for the board. Those are open. That's a good reminder. You got an email about that. And I think that's about it. Well,
Um,
guys, oh, go ahead.
Boy, Jaren, you got lunch to go to or something?
Yeah, it's pizza. It's right out. I can see it out my door window right now.
So just a real quick little history. Jaren talked about 20 years of the MIC. And when this, which is amazing, is when the MIC started, I think Lexar was the first sponsor, and that may have not have been for a couple months or so, but you used to get a memory card for if you won Best of Show.
Yeah.
It became a little think tank memory card wallet, and that was a big deal. And then, now it's up to think tank is giving points away that you can accumulate and purchase something really beneficial at the end of the year, which is absolutely wonderful. But it really started as just a friendly competition that we all participated in to get ideas and see what each other was doing. And now it's really become something quite big, which is both amazing and kind of frightening all at the same time. And then competitions at UPAA, like Jaren mentioned, are judged by us, which is very unique, but also absolutely wonderful because you know what everybody struggles with to make those photos. So it gives you insight into them. What we noticed early, and this goes even pre-MIC times, that we used to have paper for our annual competitions. And occasionally we'd notice, like somebody would have, 250 one-star images and then 7 images that were all 7s. And we're like, oh, okay, those must be that person's images, which really isn't the spirit of a UPAA competition. We want you to judge each image on its merits. And that's really the best, as Jaren talked about, feedback for that photographer. And that's what we're here for. Professional development, networking, learning from each other. So we always try to, go into it thinking, hey, I'm helping somebody else out. This isn't, just for me to get a camera bag. Personally, I judge every image on its own. Sometimes there'll be 4 7-star images in a category. Sometimes there'll be 1. It just depends on that particular image. So different ways of voting, but we're like, let's just make sure we're voting each one individually. And because we don't have paper, we don't have that visual cue if this is happening or we don't know. But with the new website, there is a method that if we need to, we can go in and look at votes and see how things are voting. Not by, we can extrapolate who it might be, but we can keep an eye on things. So just a heads up, right now, I don't think there's any board members looking. We're all too busy, especially in springtime, like all of you, but that possibility is out there. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's good feedback. And like, I probably could have talked about that again. If you have never participated in the competition, you vote 1 to 7, right? And for me, a 1 is like, this is in the wrong category. This shouldn't even be here, right? And for me, like a 4 is like, hey, this is good. I would definitely use this on my website. And then like Glenn said, like a 7, like this is awesome. Like this should win the competition. This is something I wish I had in my portfolio. I'm just going to put my name on it, right? And I love that. And I definitely spend a lot of time voting because it's almost like somebody would come to me and say, hey, can you give me feedback on this photo? But I can do 300, in a few minutes. And I want to make sure that I'm giving honest feedback of what I think it is, so that feedback can help them. And I love the fact that you can go and see what your average scores are on your images, so that it helps you be a better photographer. That's the whole point of this organization, is to help improve our photography. So thanks, Glenn. All right. Oh, with increasing video membership and symposium tracks, any plans to add video to MIC or annual contests?
We're looking at that. So the narrative series has one category that's video cine. We've been mulling that idea around, and it does need to expand. And we are trying to figure that part out. Be patient with us. We're still photographers, most of us. And we see the future that video is a part of our organization, but we need some time to work that out. If there's some video producers that want to help out, please help us figure out what's the best way to make that happen. What works for you. We understand you just don't go shoot a quick clip. You need time to produce it. That's why it's a narrative, a 3-month, so it gives you time to produce the video. But we're all ears on that.
Yeah, and I wish more people would vote on the video, sorry, what is the name of it? I get the narrative competition. Because there was so many good entries that I did this last go around. I was really impressed, and I just think it gets better each time. And I got some really good ideas from it for our team, something I shared. So that's really good. Good. All right.
I think we're at 144 registered people right now. It may have gone up.
Yeah. So
but-
guys, that's the whole point of doing this is we're close to 150. And we have a limited amount of seats in Symposium. So if you're gonna come, it's time to get it done. And again, the price will go up on May 1st. So take advantage of the opportunity. Come join us. We'll have lots of fun and have a good time. So, max number of people you asked. It's 200-ish. I don't know. We have a number. It's limited by some of our rooms. We're working on that right now, but it's not going to be much more than 200, maybe 220, something like that. So we know there's a lot of people that they're still trying to work out on their applications and money and everything like that. So if there is a situation where you're like, man, I'm coming, but the money can't come until this date, send us an email. We'll see what we can do to help you out. But the sooner the better. So awesome. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it there. We know you guys have editing that you've been ignoring. You need to go get done. So go get it done. And we'll talk to you guys next time on UPAA Live.